As early as 2003, Renaissance Technologies raised concerns about the Bernie Madoff Ponzi scheme. How did you get wind of that, and what motivated you to even say anything to the SEC?
We had money invested with Madoff for a long time, not the firm, but relatives of mine, our foundation had an investment with Madoff, and I knew him a little bit. And he was really amazing. He kept coming up with these very, very steady returns, come rain or shine. So at a certain point, I said, this guy has to know something that we don't know. In fact, he certainly knew something that we didn't know. I had all the tickets, the what do you call it, the confirmations for going back years. So I asked one of the guys at Renaissance, in the company, I was at Renaissance then, to look, analyze these trades that he was doing and tell me what you learned, what's his secret? So this guy went to work, and here was his conclusion. Well, when they put on a position, if they're buying something, they generally get a very good price. Maybe the low of the day if they're buying, maybe the high of the day if they're selling. But most of the time, they're not putting on positions. They stick with the position. That accounts, he said, for maybe 10% of their profits. They claim they have T-bills sometimes, and so was interest. But 80% of the profits was a complete mystery. It was a complete mystery. Now, what they did was, let's see, they would put on a big position, according to the tickets, with stocks which would, the collection of which would be approximately the S&P. And then they would buy a put or a call to protect themselves against outside moves. Well, from what we understood, they had a huge amount of money under management. So you would think when they put on these puts or calls or whatever it was, it would move the market actually in those things. But we could see no evidence of that. They said they were putting on these puts and calls, but you look at the put and call market, there was no evidence of any such activity. So I thought, well, let's get out of this thing. Even Medallion had a little bit invested in it. Medallion had extra cash at that time, and we had put it with me. So we sold it, and then nothing happened. And several years went by. One of my relatives called me and said, you know, do you still like Madoff? And I said, well, I can't tell you to take your money out of it because he's been going for a long time and he keeps on going and he must know something. I said, I took my money out, but I couldn't advise someone to take their money out. It never dawned on me that it was a Ponzi scheme. I didn't know what the heck he was doing, but I just didn't like the looks of it. So we couldn't understand what he was doing. So that's why we got out. 5 years later, the crap hit the fan, and he was outed, and it was, well, everyone knows what happened next. So, and actually they look back 6 years for any profits that you may have made. So our foundation had to give back some money to people who had lost it. But it was just the craziest thing in the world. Madoff. So,
The irony is that the fake track record that Madoff posted was actually not as good as the real track record the Medallion Fund.
that's true. That's true.
So,
Well, it was pretty steady. I have to say that it was pretty steady. But it was, and then the I don't know, the SEC started investigating us because some people had said, well, look, these Renaissance people, we don't know what they do either, because of course no one knew exactly what Madoff did. And of course we didn't tell people what we were doing. They couldn't see our portfolio, they couldn't see anything. By that time, I think we had already given all the money back to the investors. So I could say, well, look, we can't be doing anything wrong because it's all our own money. So we already given back all the money to the investors. But they did study us and work us over for a while. And of course, they couldn't find anything bad. Right. And then they went home.
Right.
But it was as a result of Madoff that we were so examined by the SEC.
right.